And the red lights are starting to build up. We won't hear the engine notes rise because they're almost silent. Red lights are all on. And away we go. Very good start from all the first three rows. If anybody had the edge though, it was James Hitchin. He's just got enough of an advantage. I think he can pull across in front of Andrew Davidson. Aidan Wilson is on a side-by-side dash to the corner with Dan Martin. Aidan Wilson just scraping through into third position. So that's the order as they go down the hill. It's James Hitchin, Andrew Davidson and Aidan Wilson into the first three positions. Race one winner, Murray Scott, already up into fourth position. And Dan Martin's been the loser there. He's dropped down into fifth position from fourth on the grid. Everybody safely through the chicane and onto the back straight. And now we wait to see what the order is going to be. Aidan Wilson making a lunge for second place as they come through Clark Corner, and he gets it. Fantastic move by Aidan Wilson. So he has taken the risk of going off onto the damper line. It worked for him, and he's up to second position. And now Murray Scott is challenging Andrew Davidson for third position. Murray Scott's going to have the inside line at the hairpin. Does he dare break across the standing water on the way into the hairpin? Yes, he does. And he's got himself up to third. Aidan Wilson, meanwhile, is challenging James Hitchin for the lead of the race as they come out the hairpin. He is right on the back bumper of James Hitchin's car. But James Hitchin will be at the top of the timesheets at the end of lap one. But Aidan Wilson already alongside him, out to the slipstream, alongside him under the Beatson's Bridge. He just gets his noses in front. And he's now got the whole car in front as they brake for Duffus. And Aidan Wilson, after one lap, from third on the grid, is now leading the race. James Hitchin clinging on in second place, but here comes Murray Scott down the inside into McIntyre's and separates James Hitchin from P1 and P2 rather. James Hitchin tries to fight back at Butchers. That's going to be a tight squeeze, and he thinks better of it. Drops back behind the number 51 car of Murray Scott, and Murray Scott then safely into second place and now can go off in hot pursuit of Aidan Wilson. So now can Murray Scott catch Aidan Wilson, because Aidan Wilson has managed to put about 4 or 5 car lengths between himself and everybody else, but that may or may not be enough to maintain a lead all the way through. James Hitchin not being left behind though, and then we've got Andrew Davidson ahead of Dan Martin and the rest of the pack. Into the hairpin they come for the first time, and Dan Martin makes a lunge at Andrew Davidson and gets himself up into fourth position. Now, will that have cost him on momentum? Yes, it has cost him a lot of momentum as they come out of the hairpin. They're getting left behind by the top three. Andrew Davidson sneaking alongside Dan Martin and just edging past him side by side as they cross the finish line there. 15 thousandths of a second apart with Dan Martin just behind Andrew Davidson. But they're still side by side. Andrew Davidson has the inside for Duffus, but Dan Martin drives round the outside of him, has the inside for Leslie's and gets the position done. So 3 corners later, Dan Martin completes his overtaking manoeuvre and gets into fourth position, I should say. Change of lead though. Murray Scott passes Aidan Wilson on the way into Butchers. That was a very brave move, very unusual move. James Hitchin goes very sideways on next to the chicane. He has lost all his momentum going along to Clark Corner. He's going to drop back into the midfield group unless he's very lucky. Comes up through Clark Corner. He's lost contact with the leading 2 as a result of that mistake coming out the chicane. And that means that we've got a 2-car battle for the lead, but it's race 1 winner Murray Scott that's in front from Aidan Wilson in the blue car in second place as they head to the hairpin. We've got 3 wide in the battle for 7th position, 5th, 6th and 7th. 3 wide going into the hairpin, and it's the 117 car of Mark Nisbet that comes off best, gets himself up into 5th, but he's not got very good exit speed from the hairpin, so he's going to get left behind. Andrew Davidson's in the middle of all that, trying to regain momentum, and the 77 car it is James McCracken that comes out in front of that 3-car battle. There's still 2 wide going under the Beatson's Bridge, and it's Andrew Davidson. Is he going to try and keep 6th position? Yes, he's just managed it and no more as they head down towards Leslie's. Tremendous battle in the midfield, 3 wide through the hairpin, fantastic stuff. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, it's still Murray Scott in charge. He's also set the fastest lap of the race at 1 minute 13.7. He's the only driver below 1 minute 14. In fact, he's 7/10 of a second quicker than anybody else around the circuit at the moment. So Murray Scott on a real charge And a big sideways moment again from James Hitchin. That's the second time he's had the car pitched well and truly sideways. He's obviously finding a few wet patches as he goes through the chicane and Clark Corner. That's where he's had the biggest challenges so far. He's been able to pull the car straight each time, but yeah, it's lost him time. It's lost him a fair bit of time, and that's bringing Dan Martin back into the picture now. Dan Martin just getting a little bit closer to the back of James Hitchin. Aidan Wilson is kind of stranded about 4 car lengths behind the leader, Murray Scott, who again has set another fastest lap of 1 minute 13.629, but Aidan Wilson has picked up the pace, and he's now with the 1 minute 13s as well, at 1 minute 13.664, so just 0.04 of a second between the pace of the first and second man. Aidan Wilson in the second place, the blue car, just lost another car length or so as he went down there. The mistake from James Hitchin again on the exit of McIntyre's, and that has lost him his third place. That's puts Dan Martin in the 99 car up into third position ahead of James Hitchin, and James Hitchin really struggling. There's just certain moments around the track his car just seems to snap at the back end, and it's just costing him dear, because round the rest of the lap he's as quick as anybody else, and it's just he has these odd moments where the tail end of the car just fights him. So maybe just a little setup tweak needed on that car. Down to the hairpin they go though, the first and second people. It's Murray Scott, it's still in car 51, leading the race. 1 minute 13.629 was his best lap last time round. He's a half a second ahead of Aidan Wilson as they crossed the line the last time. This time round the difference is 1.29 seconds, so he's pulling away significantly. He's just on a lap half a second quicker than Aidan Wilson. Murray Scott's fastest lap now, 1 minute 13.03. Meanwhile, we've got the 117 car of Martin Nisbet alongside Andrew Davidson, battling for 6th and 7th positions, and Andrew Davidson drops a position there. Martin Nisbet goes through in the 117 car, and he will now try and catch up with the tail of James McCracken in the 77 car. That's the white car with the red and blue stripes at the back corner of it. So the three of them pop up over the chicane. There's a 2-car battle ahead of them, which is Dan Martin against James Hitchin, and at the moment Dan Martin has the edge in that battle, but James Hitchin right on his tail trying to catch him, and that one's not over yet. I think James Hitchin may have a go at trying to get back onto the podium. At the moment Dan Martin has the last podium position in the 99 car, but I think James Hitchin has designs on that. Murray Scott set fastest lap of the race last time round. Let's see if he can improve on that this time, or if somebody else can respond to it. So they cross the line now, we're just past half distance, 4 laps to go, and yeah, the gap now out to 2.5 seconds at the front, so Murray Scott has got this one under control by the looks of it. And Dan Martin has just given himself a little bit extra breathing space between himself and James Hitchin, but James Hitchin is much quicker through Duffus, much quicker through Leslie's, makes a dive for the inside at McIntyre's, but coming from too far back, Dan Martin defends that, and James Hitchin has to bail out of that, and he drops back 2 or 3 car lengths, heading up through the chicane now, and he's going to have to try and regain momentum, get back onto the bootleg of the car in front. Behind him, James McCracken in a reasonably solid 5th place at the moment. He's broken clear of the Martin Nisbet Andrew Davison battle. They're slowing each other down as they've been battling over the previous laps, although Martin Nisbet, I think maybe he's just got himself a little bit of an advantage now over Andrew Davison, might just be pulling away a little bit. And we watch the leaders now coming through the hairpin once more. And the fielders remain not too far spread out actually, as they're all within about, well, the computer's just reset and I could have told you exactly, but they're all within about 30 seconds of each other, which is not too bad. 99 Dan Martin then now coming under a little bit more pressure from James Hitchin. James Hitchin closing in now, he's faster out the hairpin, he's closed in all the way along the straight. Car lengths between them as they go down Duffus. Is he going to have another go at dive bombing into McIntyre's? Dan Martin has to think about going defensive there, and James Hitchin quicker through that section of track, and now within a car length as they head down towards Butchers. Down the dip they go, they pop up over the top of the chicane, and James Hitchin just in the wheel tracks of Dan Martin. He's quicker onto the back straight now. He's gained a lot of time in the back straight, Is he going to be close enough to dive inside at Clark Corner? He's having to think about it, but no, he has to follow through, but he's quick through Clark as well. Dan Martin struggling to keep James Hitchin behind at the moment. So this could run right to the end of the race, this battle for third and fourth positions. But I think first and second pretty well sorted. Aidan Wilson in second at the moment, and is now, well, last time round it was 2.2 seconds the gap from first to second position. This time through it's now out to 2.1. It's stabilised. In fact, Aidan Wilson has just set the fastest lap of the race now. Aidan Wilson is coming alive again with 2 laps to go. 1 minute 12.96. That's the fastest lap of the race. It's the only driver into the 1 minute 12s. So Aidan Wilson is not settling for second place. He's up the pace and he's going to try and close in. He's got 2 seconds to make up with 2 laps to go. That's a tall order in a Citroen C1, but you never know. But looking at the gap between them now, I think it's gone out to a little bit more than 2 seconds as they've gone around the far side of the circuit, but Aidan Wilson still charging along. Oh, and a big slide for James Hitchin. Is he going to hold it this time? He almost lost it coming out the chicane, and that's dropped James Hitchin right off the back of Dan Martin and into the clutches of James McCracken, who's alongside him as they come into Clark Corner, and McCracken makes up a position. James Hitchin's going to fight back. He regains the position as the road turns to the left to go onto Hislops, and James Hitchin just maintains his position, but he was so far sideways. He's got fantastic car control. It's the front wheel drive, how to sort out oversteer is just bury the throttle. Not that there's a lot of power in this car, but eventually the front wheels should pull the front of the car back round again. For some drivers that's kind of counterintuitive, but it works, and that got James Hitchin out of all sorts of trouble there along the back straight. He was almost all the way around. Meanwhile, we're on the last lap. It's still Murray Scott in the lead and going for the double win here. Aidan Wilson has the fastest lap of the race, but it's not enough to have held Murray Scott at bay. The margin between them now 2.3 seconds as they make their way along the back straight. Dan Martin looking fairly secure now in third position in car 99. And James Hitchin has managed to just about resist the attack from James McCracken, who's in 5th position in the 77 car. So up they come along Hislops towards the hairpin for the final time. And Murray Scott, as long as he makes no mistakes now, is going to be home and dry as a double winner. A great start to this championship season, 25 points for a win. And so he'll have done the maximum. So he comes across the line now. And Murray Scott wins in car 51 ahead of the 24 car of Aidan Wilson. 99 Dan Martin's going to come in third, and then quite a battle to the line here, but James Hitchin just holds on in car 27 to take 4th position, and James McCracken rounds out the top 5, followed by Mark Nisbet in 117, Andrew Davidson in car 70, Dale Edwards in 19, then Kenny Dock, Matthew Baldy getting a finish, that's good news, and Ian Cochrane in the 61 car coming home in 11th. So interesting race that one, trading fastest laps as they went, but once you get more than about 4 or 5 car lengths behind somebody in a Citroen C1, it looks like it's very, very difficult to make up the gap, and that proved to be the case there. But great race and a very good start to the race from Aidan Wilson as well. He led briefly, made an excellent start. I thought he was maybe going to run away and take it there, but good fight back by Murray Scott to take a double win. So it's 51 Murray Scott ahead of 24 Aidan Wilson and 99 Dan Martin. Winning margin for Murray Scott was 2.502 seconds, and the fastest lap went to Aidan Wilson, the 1 minute 12.964.